there.
I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again. In this moment, we have to recognise the new era that we are in, not cling hopelessly to the comforts of the past. It's time for us to take responsibility for our security,
Amid ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has sparked a major controversy by declaring that he is ready and willing to send British troops to Ukraine. This statement was made during a high-level summit at the Élysée Palace in Paris, where European leaders gathered to discuss Ukraine's future and the role of the West in maintaining stability in the region. His remarks immediately ignited debate, with military experts, politicians, and the public expressing concerns that such a move could escalate the conflict with Russia and raise serious questions about the long-term sustainability of deploying British forces.
and I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again.
Prime Minister, by unilaterally starting talks with Russia, has the United States undermined the UK, Europe, and Ukraine?
What the United States wants is lasting peace. That's what Ukraine wants. That's what the United Kingdom wants. And that's what European allies want.
During discussions at the Paris summit, European leaders focused on measures to support Ukraine amid Russia's ongoing aggression. While the United States is prioritizing diplomatic negotiations with Moscow, many European nations feel a stronger commitment is necessary to ensure regional security. Keir Starmer emphasised that the UK cannot remain on the sidelines and is prepared to deploy troops if the situation demands it. According to some sources, the plan under consideration could involve sending around 10,000 troops to Ukraine in a peacekeeping and military training capacity. However, the logistical challenges are significant. To maintain a 10,000-strong force on the ground, the British military may need to mobilise up to 30,000 personnel in a rotational system. This raises serious questions about the feasibility of the plan, given that the British Army currently has only around 73,000 active personnel. Meanwhile, responses from the US and Russia have been starkly different. The US has refrained from strongly endorsing troop deployment to Ukraine, instead focusing on diplomatic measures and long-range military support. Russia, on the other hand, has warned that the presence of British troops could escalate tensions, increasing the risk of a direct confrontation between NATO and Moscow. Within Europe, nations remain divided on the issue. While Germany and Sweden have expressed openness to a peacekeeping mission, Poland has strongly opposed the idea, fearing that it could drag the entire region into a larger conflict. France, as one of Europe's leading military powers, has taken a cautious approach, neither fully dismissing nor endorsing the possibility of troop deployment. From Ukraine's perspective, President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed concerns that any agreement excluding Ukraine from direct involvement would fail to guarantee the country's long-term security. Meanwhile, the Russian government may view the deployment of British troops in Ukraine as a provocation, further escalating tensions in the region.
The European philosophy hasn't gone anywhere, so I don't know what they should do at the negotiating table. If they're going to weasel out some cunning ideas about freezing the conflict while actually intending, as is their custom, nature and habit, to continue the war,
Ukraine regards any negotiations on Ukraine without Ukraine as negotiations with no result. And we cannot acknowledge any arrangements about us that were made without us.
In the UK, the political landscape is also deeply divided. Conservative Party politicians have warned that the British military lacks the necessary resources and equipment to sustain a long-term mission in Ukraine. Some military experts argue that such a move may not yield tangible benefits, but could instead escalate tensions with Russia. Beyond the political debates, financial concerns are another major issue. Maintaining 10,000 troops on the battlefield could cost the UK billions of pounds annually. A significant expenditure at a time when the country's defence budget is already facing cuts. Additionally, the British military is currently experiencing shortages of various weapons and equipment due to the extensive support it has already provided to Ukraine since the war began. Deploying additional troops could put further strain on the UK's logistical system, potentially weakening its ability to respond to other emergency situations. Compared to previous peacekeeping missions, such as those in Bosnia or Afghanistan, many experts believe that a mission in Ukraine would be significantly more complex. Direct confrontation with Russia would place the UK at high risk, particularly without a carefully structured plan. An alternative being considered is the formation of a multinational force. If this option moves forward, Germany, Sweden, and several other EU nations could be involved. However, the key question is whether this force would operate independently or under NATO's coordination. If NATO were to intervene directly, Russia might perceive it as a provocation, increasing the risk of a military confrontation between major global powers. As a result, another possible approach is to establish a peacekeeping force under the mandate of the United Nations or a regional organization. With growing disagreements and mounting tensions, Keir Starmer's decision has placed the UK in a difficult position. Some believe that this is a necessary step to protect Ukraine and ensure European security. However, many fear that deploying troops could further escalate the situation and drag the UK into a conflict it cannot fully control. Regardless of the path chosen, the British government must develop a clear and well-thought-out strategy before making a final decision. Otherwise, the UK could face serious and unpredictable consequences, politically, economically, and militarily. What do you think about Starmer's statement? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest political and social developments in the UK.